You said, quote, he should really set an example by speaking English in the United States. What's wrong with speaking Spanish?
Well, I think it's wonderful and all, but I did it a little bit half-heartedly, but I do mean it to a large extent. We have a country where to assimilate, you have to speak English. This is a country where we speak English, not Spanish.
You the third person that don't speak English in Walmart. Who can help me that actually speaks English? He speak you said amigo. He speak Spanish too?
Yes.
No, I need English.
Not speak English.
I need English. So you work here. Can you go get me someone that speaks English?
Not speak English.
I know that. But go get somebody that speak English. You still have to assist the customer. Go get somebody that speak English. Come on. Come on.
A lot of the world speaks 2 languages at least. Like, think about like the Middle East. How many different Arabic languages there are in the
so
Middle
many dialects.
East. I know.
Like even in China, it's not just Mandarin. It's
Fusanese, and then they have traditional
Cantonese.
Yeah, they have a lot of, and then like it's totally different languages too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's a dialect like British or Australian accent. Like it's not an accent. Like no, it's a different language.
I'm at the point in my language acquisition where it's like I learned phrases, I learned vocabulary. I could pretty much read in Spanish, but I needed a book in Spanish to connect the missing parts. How do they use certain words, this and that, you know what I mean? And so that's where I'm at. That's what I understood in Spanish and translating it to English for you guys. But I promise you, this is just from reading in Spanish. And it's kind of crazy because I'm like, dang, I'm at the point in my language acquisition where it's like, I learned phrases, I learned vocabulary. I could pretty much read in Spanish, but I needed a book in Spanish to connect the missing parts. Hi, Brian, and I am on a language journey, language acquisition to learning Spanish. Okay, so I've been reading the Bible in Spanish, but I realized that I needed to have another set. So I went to my local bookstore and I picked up this book right here, Yo no soy tu perfecta hija mexicana. And the whole book is in Spanish, okay? Like if you can see, everything is in Espanol, okay? So I read chapter 1, I read chapter 2. And this is the gist of what I get thus far, okay? So in chapter 1, she has a sister named Olga. And Olga has passed away. And her name in the story is Julia Reyes. And she is having these conflicting thoughts because at the funeral, everyone is so sad that her sister has passed away, and she feels conflicted about her relationship with her sister because they wasn't close. She was always compared to her sister. Her sister was considered perfect. She was considered imperfect. They were different. And so at the funeral, it's like she's confused. She has mixed feelings about the relationship. But she loved her sister, and so she's battling with the complex emotions of having a sister that passed away, and yet she doesn't feel like probably she should feel now that her sister has passed. She's navigating complex emotions. Chapter 2 goes into after the funeral, her school life, her home life, her dreams, her goals, who she is as a person, and building an identity outside of Olga. And then she goes in to talk about how man, just chapter 2 felt really sad. Now, like I say, todavía aprendiendo español. So, en realidad, es mucho palabras, es nuevo para mí. Pero yo sigue leer and yo leyendo este libro. So, it's no problema. Pero es difícil, pero me sienta mucho emocionada in este libro. Okay, so as I'm reading the book, I actually felt sad. I felt like a certain sadness. And I was telling my mom about the book. And it's a part in the book in chapter 2 where she's talking about how she grew up. And I almost teared up, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, because she was talking about how much she wasn't considered, like, her parents didn't see her like she seen her sister, but she still had that respect for her parents. So her dad, they went to a restaurant. She's describing the restaurant, how the restaurant smelled and everything. And their daddy had, her father, her padre, he had $4.75 that he spent on getting her a burrito with some eggs, an egg burrito. And he gave it to her, and basically he was like asking her, was she satisfied? And she said yes, but she really wasn't satisfied. She was still hungry. But it kind of highlights the poverty that she grew up in and how, she didn't want to offend her parent by saying that it wasn't enough or she wasn't satisfied. And then the story ends with her talking about her sister's best friend, how her sister's best friend worked at this hotel. Her sister was in connection with another hotel, and she's starting to think and connect some dots that her sister probably wasn't as perfect as what people think she was. And it kind of alludes to a secret life. And that's where chapter 2 ended. And that's what I understood in Spanish and translating it to English for you guys. But I promise you, this is just from reading in Spanish. And it's kind of crazy because I'm like, dang, I'm at the point in my language acquisition where it's like, I learned phrases, I learned vocabulary, I could pretty much read in Spanish, but I needed a book in Spanish to connect the missing parts. How do they use certain words, this and that, you know what I mean? And so that's where I'm at. So Erica L. Sanchez, I'm reading your book. Was the mortal son of the sun god Helios and a woman named Clymene. To prove his divine heritage against the taunts of his peers, he foolishly convinced his father to let him drive the chariot for one day. Phaethon is said to be from Ethiopia. However, Phaethon was too weak to control the immortal fire-breathing horses, which bolted wildly off course. They first froze the earth by flying too high, and then plunged so low that they set the world ablaze, scorching the land and causing the skin of the people living closest to the path to turn dark. The myth's way of explaining different complexions. To prevent the complete destruction of the earth, Zeus struck Phaethon with a thunderbolt, ending the boy's life and his disastrous ride, causing him to crash into the river Eridanus.